Hi guys, Brad Jobe here from Jobe Custom Rods. Last year I was contacted by David Boyle to see if I'd be interested in participating in building a collaboration rod for a charity of our choice. This was a huge surprise to me and also an honour that David thought that I was good enough to participate. David contacted Mark Fisher and Andrew Prosser. We thought that this was a pretty good combination of builders to come up with something that was going to be fairly special. First of all, we had some Zoom meetings and we had to come up with a theme for the rod. We thought that an ocean theme was going to be the appropriate thing. True to Mark's heart is a beach called Callala Beach down in New South Wales that looked like it would be the perfect inspiration for us. Mark was the instigator of doing some magnificent cork grips and then his usual perfect feather inlays with a cicada wing inlay as well, which he's just started doing, and they look absolutely magnificent and are a work of art. After Mark finished his section of the rod, he passed it on to Andrew, who complemented it with a closed wrap, and he did an excellent job with this. And when you look at the workmanship in it, it's absolutely magnificent. I was next in line, and I was tasked with binding the guides on. So my job was basically to run with the same theme and try and fit that binding in with what the other boys had done and match it in and try and keep that theme going right through the rod. Hopefully this has been achieved and we've come up with a rod that's pretty special. David Boyle, he was our glue. He was the man that inspired us, kept us on track, kept us going, had the whip out and made sure we didn't slacken off. When you look at the rod, it's actually a bit of a work of art, and the lucky recipient of it, I'm sure will treasure it in the future. We have to thank Frogley's Offshore and Fuji Australia for supplying the blank and most of the parts for the rod. Without them, it makes it a little more difficult.
Mark, I know that you and I have personal connections to the Forge Through Foundation, being part of the Forge family. But for those people that don't know what the Forge Through Foundation is, can you give us a brief outline of what they do?
Look, I'll start with Dean. Dean had experience in military and then with police. When he finally left the police, he undertook forging his own knife, and Dean found it very cathartic for himself. He suffered from PTSD after leaving both jobs, and from that, Dean developed a course for first responders and military personnel suffering from PTSD, where they forged their own knife out of something old into something new. Trish and I both done the course. We found it extremely cathartic, and the connection, I suppose, with the rest of the Forge Through family has gone from there. We've made friends, like-minded people, I suppose, that have gone through their own forms of trauma. And Dean and Gina are the glue that holds the Forge Through Foundation together. So
this rod has been raffled for Dean and Gina or for the foundation. Do you have any message for Dean and Gina?
Look, the message for Dean and Gina is over many years they've held together a foundation involving a huge number of people and families. They've brought them together. They ask very, very little in return. Dean's undergoing his own battle at the moment, and along with Dean undergoing his battle, Gina's with him the whole way. So this is a little way that the Forge family can carry the weight, I suppose, for Dean and Gina for a little while, and just try and help them out as much as possible.
And your message to Dean if he was sitting here now?
Message to Dean is, mate, sit back, recover to the best of your ability, fight that dreaded scourge, and let the rest of the Forge Through family try and give something back to you and Gina. that you've given to us. It's only a very minor amount that we can give back, but I hope it helps.
Forge Through, for me, thinks about people when other people aren't. We're so lucky to have defence and police and ambulance and emergency services people working for us, and they're there when you need them, and Forge Through is there when they've gone home and everyone else has forgotten about them.
The charity that we thought would be fitting is the Forge Through charity, and this is close to Mark's heart, being a ex-police officer, and it was good to see that money is being raised to help in looking after our emergency services personnel and our defence personnel.
G'day, my name's Andrew Prosser. I did the decorative cross wrap on the collaboration rod. I was motivated by sharing the rod building journey with others and trying to challenge myself, try and learn some new skills. Rod building for me is meditation. It's a source of escape, and it's reliable. I'm a fisherman and a surfer, and with 3 young kids, it's pretty hard to do those things. So rod building, I've got my bench, I can get there every night and just, de-stress from the day and end up with something beautiful.
Hi everyone, we're here today with Mark Fisher from Outback Rods to have a quick chat about the Callala Collaboration Rod that was recently finished. So Mark, what motivated you to be part of building this collaboration rod?
Look, the Americans have had collaboration rods for many years for some of their different causes and stuff, but to my knowledge this is the first Australian-made collaboration rod by Australian rod builders. And really behind that, the force behind that was Dave Boyle. Dave has instigated this rod and approached Brad, Andrew and myself to be part of it. And look, to be honest, I've been more than honoured to be part of it.
Was there anything challenging, being this is the first time that you guys have attempted a collaboration rod?
I think the distance involved between us is one of the big things. We've had Zoom meetings, which is something I've never really been part of before, but I think the distance is the Australian tyranny.
So were there any sort of unexpected outcomes from this collaboration?
Look, I won't say unexpected, but I think as rod builders, we very rarely get to talk together in small groups about our passion for rod building. And I think this collaboration rod has brought the 4 of us a lot closer together, as is evidenced by the messenger pinging at all hours of the night and day with some of our conversations.
So a very healthy group chat going.
A very healthy group chat.
And sharing your building in that group chat, do you guys also share bits that you've built, a little bit of inspiration for each other?
Look, we do. Andrew shared some photos the other day. And look, his rods are coming up an absolute treat. Particularly his finish work is absolutely perfect. And we post a few different photos here and there.
Would you recommend this to other rod builders, like being part of a collaboration?
I would highly recommend it. Again, I think tyranny of distance, but you really need someone like Dave Boyle behind it to be the running man, I suppose, behind it, or the heart and soul behind it. You need someone to get things moving, and then it goes up to the other builders to get their job done and send the rod on to the next builder.